Hello and welcome to PD in Your PJs. We are thrilled to have you here with us today. I'm Angela from Seesaw, and I have been in a kindergarten classroom for 15 years, but am now full-time at Seesaw to help teachers get started and get going. So I lead the community team, and I'm really excited to be here today with an amazing kindergarten teacher, Cindy, and she's gonna share some super easy, amazing ways to use Seesaw in kindergarten. So if you are out there listening and are just getting started, you're going to hear some great tips and tricks. If you are already a Seesaw pro and you're in kindergarten, amazing. I'm sure you will also pick up some great ideas and tips as well. A couple things to note if you haven't ever joined us for a webinar. So you are going to be able to hear us, and at any moment, if you have a question or something you want to learn a little bit more about, you can actually just type your question in. I will be looking at the questions while Cindy is presenting, but we're hoping to have about 10 minutes at the end to, dig a little deeper into questions that you might have. So keep those in mind. Feel free to ask those as she's presenting, but just note that I might save some of them for the end as well. So without further ado, let's just get rolling here. Oh, the other thing I should tell you is that because you've registered for this webinar, you will automatically get an email with the recording and Cindy's slides as well. So if you're thinking we're moving too quickly and you want to spend more time looking at something, it's going to appear in your inbox in a few hours. So keep that in mind as well. So welcome, Cindy. Tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cindy Vance, and I'm a kindergarten teacher for 20 plus years, and I live here in California. I've been a Seesaw ambassador. This is my second year, and I love that. I learned about Seesaw through our tech person here in our district, and then last year I just jumped in from day one, and again this year, and my classes are loving it, and it's spreading throughout our school and our district, and obviously through the world. So we're very excited. And today you can see on there that I have my email address. I'm on Twitter, and I am actually the moderator of the Seesaw Kindergarten Facebook group. And there's lots of great teachers there sharing lots of ideas. So if you're not on that, please make sure that you join that so you can share the wonderful things you're doing in your classroom. And today my focus is going to be using how I use Seesaw, 3 main ways that I use it: to communicate with my families, to celebrate all the amazing things my students are doing, and also to assess my students. Okay, and so as far as communicate, I'm going to go through just some of the ways that I use Seesaw for communication. Before I begin, this is my recording station. I posted it lots of places throughout Facebook and different, it's in the PD that I did before, but my recording station just kind of happened in the classroom as I was looking for a way for my kids to be hands-free with their iPad. And I just turned and looked, and I have this shelf here where there's a space for the camera to look through. So I set it up in the back of my classroom. I've got a couple of posters. You can see on the slide at the bottom, I have a white tub. Those are my iPads that can travel and go around the room. And then on the sides, 2 sides, I have a stationary iPad that just stays there so the kids can be hands-free to show their reading, their work, their writing, and all kinds of things. And it's really stable. So wanted to share that with you as well.
And I'm just going to interject. This is brilliant, and I've shared it with so many people, and I've even tested it in my own daughter's kindergarten classroom and first grade classroom. And this is truly an awesome way for kids to be able to take a video, but also be able to, as the picture shows here, be able to turn the pages, track print, touch different features or things that they're doing without having to try to hold an iPad and also be able to hear them. So definitely try it out. And every time someone asks, I always bug Cindy to say, share your idea, share your idea. So love that, love that. All right, let's keep cruising.
Great. So communication with Seesaw is one of the most brilliant things that has happened in the classroom, I feel, because it's just so quick. I was able to get all of my parents signed up at back to school night and logged in for Seesaw. So now I can send notes with important information. And one of the great things is how you can see if they've seen it or not. I love that because sending an email, I don't really know if they see it or not. So I send a lot of just reminders and important information. I love, love, love taking photos. And the way I began with Seesaw was just me doing it. I took pictures with my phone and the iPad. I sent videos and I sent those things and uploaded them to Seesaw. Now my students, of course, are doing it, but I still do a lot of that. I even use Seesaw to send my thank you notes, and there'll be a slide about that soon. I use Seesaw to communicate with parents if their child has a specific behavioral kind of a contract, or if I need to report how things are going for a parent that day, I do that. I might send pictures of things in the classroom, like anchor charts that I want parents to know what we're working on and talk to their students about. You can send links to permission slips and forms and ask them to print them. And then just lots of reminders. I no longer do my traditional newsletter. Seesaw has become my newsletter where my parents know everything that we're doing in the classroom. So here, this is just an example of a special event that we had in our classroom. I do a Teachers College Readers and Writers Workshop, and this was a reading celebration. And the theme was superheroes, superpowers. So at the bottom, this is made with pic collage. So there's the 3 pictures. The bottom shows the students reading, and we have family and parents that were able to come. Some of them were able to leave work and come, but not all the parents. So I wanted to make sure that I took pictures and that I shared that out through Seesaw so the other families could feel a part of it. The kids got their capes and we took pictures. And then the top one is Do Ink or Doink. I'm not sure how that's said. But that's another app that you can use that I have a green screen, just a giant piece of green felt. I had the kids stand like they were flying with their cape. I was able to put that city background and then with just a few clicks really do that for my parents. And then I was able to share it out with pic collage. So all of those kinds of things, if you haven't done it, really just play around and you'll be able to figure that out. This is just an example of celebration. We had a Thanksgiving feast and the parents really weren't there, so I wanted them to see that. We had an assembly. I sent a note, a reminder, and then at the bottom right, that's this is our kids getting their hearing tested. So I just used pictures. Today your child was tested in hearing. This is how it went. So just lots of quick photos for parents. For thank you notes, I'm terrible at writing thank you notes. So Seesaw has helped me out a ton because I can just quickly take a photo of it. I often record my thank you and make it really personal and send that out to my parents. So that's really helped me a lot. And this is just an example of when I've sent through the notification where you can just send it out quickly to everybody just in text. I give a reminder, and then the parent then responded back, your child had a dental appointment, and then I said, well, I'm home with the flu. And so it's just a way to just talk with that parent only. And then on the other side, I sent a picture of our holiday performance, and then parents commented below how much they loved the performance, and everyone in the class could see those comments. So it's just the 2 different ways. One way, just that parent and I were communicating and no one else could see it. And the other way, everybody could see it and then they were commenting amongst each other. So I like both options through Seesaw. Communicating about behavior. Here's an example. I just made a document and made it as an image, and now I'm able to use emojis just so that I can give a child and the parent feedback every day on some of the goals that they're working on. So Seesaw's made that really quick for the parent, and that's helped. And now I have a record of the growth the child has made.
Interject just for a second.
Yep.
We're getting a couple questions in, Cindy, about, how do the parents how do you go about tagging students? So one of the questions that comes up a lot is, when I was in my kindergarten classroom, if there were 3 kids pictured in a photo, I would only tag those 3 students and it would go to those 3 families. If it's a class photo, kind of like you're sharing here in this slide on the right, I would tag everyone because everyone's in the photo. So do you want to talk a little bit about how, if you work the same way or you did it the same way? Tracy is wondering a little bit about that.
Okay, great. I do it exactly like you said, Angela. So this picture, you'll see that whole class. I tagged everyone. Everyone saw it. So then when parents were commenting, we all saw those comments. On the other side, that's more through the notifications. So that is sent out and the parents can't see each other's comments. So I do a little bit of each depending on, if I want parents to see it or not. And I agree, like if I just have 2 kids in the picture, we just give it out for those 2 kids. But sometimes there's one child in the picture and I want the whole class to see it as a celebration. So, and then if parents comment, we all can see those comments.
Perfect.
All right, so now on to celebration. And this is really the heart also, I feel, on the student side. The communication is a lot my side. Celebration is what I help my students learn how to do with Seesaw. So here's just some examples. Special events. This little girl learned to climb the rock wall, and I took a video and sent it right to her parents because she'd been working on it. Birthdays, I send a photo. These kids are cooperating. Friendship, starved student. Just when a child is focusing and really doing what they should be doing, and I can celebrate that and send that to their parent and let them know that, here he is on task doing what he's supposed to be doing. So I use it a lot just to celebrate what kids are doing. Thanks. This is where the students are uploading what they want to put in for Seesaw. So they might be working on word work and take a picture and send that in, an art project. Maybe they take a picture of an anchor chart or their science journal. This little boy, he got this picture is him. He got pizza with the principal, so that's a whole school celebration. So we sent that to his family and out to the whole class. So just celebrating all those other work things and special things that we do in the classroom. And, so I don't see, for some reason, Angela, there it came. All right, awesome. So that's an activity. This is an example to the left of an activity that I put in. And if you click on that after this, you would click on the activity and it'll take you to Seesaw, and there'll be a share button, and you can actually grab that activity and be able to put that into your own activity library if you're starting to use that. But I ask students to just take pictures throughout the day in the classroom of something that they noticed, and then they can upload that into Seesaw. They can click the mic and talk about it if they want to, or they can just send a picture of something that they noticed for the day and then talk with their family about it later on at home.
The other thing too is if you click on this photo later, you can actually save that activity.
Yeah. Okay, good. Exactly. And then this is an example of another way that I teach my students how they can celebrate their growth and learning in the classroom. So you can see up to my right, hopefully you're right, a picture. It's a poster. It says Seesaw, and it has the days of the week. I did have to give kids like a day where I'm expecting them to upload something into Seesaw. In my classroom, I have 4 roaming iPads, and I have 2 stationary iPads. So I have 25 students and 6 iPads. So we can't all put things in all at the same time. We have to take turns. So I gave them this as an example of a way that, those students can upload, especially for reading. On Mondays, I expect you to read a little something into Seesaw and upload it. So that just kind of helped one, getting something in there every week from a student, and two, just not having a big lineup of kids there every day. So it looks like I need to give you permission to see that video. Sorry about that. I didn't realize that was going to happen. I'll do that after the webinar, but that picture where you see all the money, that's just an example of a student using my recording station independently. He's there and he is able to read and turn the pages while he's recording and send that to his family. And then the arrow is just showing all my students have book bags full of books, so they can just pick a book from their book bag and go and record on their own. On the left, you'll see I made it into one of the activities. So if you click the play instruction, if the student went to the iPad and they saw this activity, then they would be able to listen to the instructions that just tell them to read a book from their book bag and how to upload that in through activities. What I love about that, and I don't know, Angela, if we would be able to click on that and show them, and I maybe should have put a picture of it. When students start responding, oh, yay. I made this for you. I did not have my students do this yet. They do it all the time, but I didn't make it as an activity. They just know to do it. If you do it as an activity, as students respond to this activity, then you have this beautiful picture of each child so you can see who's done it and who's not done it. So, okay, good. Let's go back. So you can see here it says 0 responses, but if, let's say, 10 kids have responded, I can look back, I can listen to their responses, and I can see which 15 other kids have not responded yet. So it's just a really nice, organized way of seeing who's doing it. Okay, we'll move on. And then just celebrating learning new concepts. The one to the left, the activity to the left, I uploaded 4 pictures of planting a seed in a sequence, and then the students would be able to follow the directions where they are going to tap the T on, once they take their picture, and then they would tap the T. Well, they don't take the picture. Sorry, I said that. The pictures are there. They're going to tap the T, and they're going to use their finger then to move the labels that I have. They're really tiny. There we go. So after they tap the T button, they would be able to move the words and label the pictures. And I don't know if you click the directions where they can hear my audio, Angela. Does that work? Would that work? I don't hear it. Can you hear it?
Let me unmute myself and try that again, because it's playing. I'm like listening to your beautiful voice, but I was muted, so let's try again.
Today you're going to explain how to plant a seed. Remember to use words like first, next, then, and now. First, you're going to tap the add button, then tap the T for labeling. Move the words with your finger to label the steps.
Okay, so we don't have to listen to the whole thing. Thanks, Angela. So you would be able to have students move those labels, label the parts, and then tell you how a plant and a seed grows, and you would have that. This is another example just of word work of a student and what she put in because she was excited about the work that she had done. Okay. Great. So those are just 2 examples. And as far as assessment goes, obviously anything the child puts into Seesaw for celebration is also a great chance for you to do assessment. Angela made this slide, I found out, but these are just some reasons why Seesaw is so perfect for assessment. Students own their learning. It's very visible to parents, to teachers. It gives you a chance to be able to set up an assessment in the corner of a room and students go over there. You don't have to be there. I think another thing too, I think kids just sometimes feel much more comfortable recording on their own in a corner. saying their numbers or talking about their understanding about something rather than sitting next to an adult, maybe with all the kids around them. So sometimes it just gives kids more power in their voice where they feel comfortable doing it. Great. So this is some examples that I've done in math. So the one picture, I just had a parent call the kids over to do the number matching. I wasn't there. I was doing other things. After they were done, they took a photo of it and uploaded it. So they just matched the numbers to the number of objects in the boxes. The one where, if you click on the video for me, Angela, that one. This one shows this little girl. She just did a math page. But then she's going to talk about the math page and what she learned.
Point all the shapes. Square, cone, hexagon, circle,
Okay, we can stop there. So what I love about this one is you can hear another child's voice. Oh. You can hear this other child's voice coaching her. And just by looking at that, I can see she does not know the name of cube. She's calling it a square. She doesn't know cylinder without a little hint from her friend, but she's really great with many of the other shapes. So it's just another example of an assessment. That was just a worksheet page that they all had to do. And then they just uploaded to Seesaw. The middle one is just another, they were doing that as an activity. That was a class, just something they did in class. And then I made an activity. We just finished doing a measurement. And so this is just an activity that you can grab if you want, where kids can just find two objects in the classroom, take a photo, use the microphone to talk about why one is heavier and one is lighter, and just using vocabulary. So just a quick thing that kids can do. In writing, I use it for assessment all the time. You don't have to click it, Angela, but the one to the left, they did word work with me on the rug, and then they went and uploaded it to Seesaw reading those words. The middle one, where the child is reading, that's her. She finished a book in Writer's Workshop, and whenever they finish a book, they're welcome to go and upload that. This was a time where I asked everybody to do it. And just listening to her when she reads that, I can hear her rereading, actually doing some editing and correcting. So it's really powerful to watch a child read that. And then this is an activity that's in the activities library already from Seesaw. That's there for all of us to use under kindergarten, which is just uploading into Seesaw. So I use it for writing and then also for reading. And in reading, the one with Nuzzle Bunny, I had read that to the whole class. It's part of my report card that they are able to retell and talk about a book that I've read. And so I just made it into an activity that the students had to do, where I just remind them a little bit about the story, and then they do a retell into Seesaw rather than me doing that one-on-one next to everybody. The one in the middle, those are just some of our district sight words that we needed to do for the report card. And the students could then just go in, and they're able to hit the mic, and they're also able to use the drawing tool and circle the words as they go. So it's just another way of me seeing, can they read these words? And then on the other side, that's just another example of a child reading and using the recording station. And then you can see I made a little comment down below, and I actually use it kind of like conferring, where I'll say, I saw you using your superpowers, Dominic. This is a great book choice because you had problem solving to do. So watching that video, when I got to watch it before I approved it, I could see that he was struggling with some things, and then see what does he do when I'm not sitting by him. A lot of times students want you to fix it, but when they're doing it in Seesaw, there's nobody there but themselves to try to figure it out. So it's really a great way to see what kids are trying on their own.
Doing great here. We have about 5 more minutes, so just
perfect. Okay, this is just a screenshot of the skills view. So skills view is something that you can get if you pay for Seesaw Plus or if you're an ambassador, you can get Seesaw Plus for free. So this is where you can put in specific skills that you want to check your students on. You put the standard in, and then it comes up with this beautiful grid as to how to do it, and you give it a rating of stars, 1 through 4 stars. Then you would get this nice colorful grid and quickly be able to see, okay, you know, which students do I need to work with on that skill again. Let's go back one more. Thanks. And then also just another tip is I like to decide, is this something I want to send directly to parents? So when I'm going through approval, if it's in the child's folder and I click on it, it's going to go right home to the parents and they're going to see it. And I do that with most things. But once in a while, I'll do an assessment or something that I don't want parents to see right away. Then I don't select the child's name and I put it into a separate folder that only I can see, and then I might save that for a time where I'm sitting alongside the parents to save it for teacher parent conferences where it's something I feel like I need to explain and talk to the parents about. And that is all that I had to share with you today.
Wonderful. Well, we have so many questions coming in and great conversation. So a couple things that I'm going to just share quickly. If you are brand new to Seesaw and you've never ever used Seesaw, a great webinar to start with is actually brand new to Seesaw. And we have one specifically for pre-K through 2nd grade teachers. I lead that webinar, and it gives you the ability to play as a student and kind of start with the real basics of getting started with Seesaw. We also have on our website, ideas.seesaw.me. We have all of these great getting started guides, and we have one specifically for kindergarten, and it walks you through many lessons to teach your students how to get started with Seesaw. So, I mean, it really goes through baby steps of, you know, what does this green add button mean? How do we take a photo? All sorts of things like that. So definitely check out those resources if you are brand new to Seesaw. Cindy, I just want to mention too that she does not have one-to-one devices in her classroom. She is working with shared devices with lots of kindergartners. So if you are a teacher that, you know, does not have one-to-one devices, totally fine. My kindergarten classroom had 5 iPads and 24 kindergartners, and we did amazing things with Seesaw. So keep that in mind as well. There's lots of questions coming in regarding activities and how you create activities in Seesaw. So activities is one component of Seesaw. Students also can add their own, you know, like Cindy was saying, celebrations and their work and reflect. So we have a whole webinar all about getting started with activities, so you can check that out as well. I'm going to look through the questions now and see if you have any questions specifically for Cindy before we have to say goodbye. Let's see. Can you talk a little bit, Cindy, about how did you get your students started with Seesaw? What did you do first?
Okay, great. So the first thing I did was I took some pictures of my class, and then I put up on my document camera the iPad and showed them how I was going to upload that into Seesaw. I just was very specific and direct and showed them exactly what I was doing. And then to get them doing it, we played Seesaw Go, which is a really fun game, which is also in your PD. That you can look for, where kids actually go around and use Seesaw to learn about it.
Awesome. Let's see, other questions. So many great questions coming in. Can you talk a little bit, Cindy? I thought you did a great job talking about this. Just the background noise that is always apparent in every single kindergarten classroom. Boy, I hope there is anyway. How do you deal with that? What do you do in your classroom? How do you manage that with your students?
Okay, very good. Yes, I mean, the worst background noise is my voice. So it's me who needs to be quiet sometimes, and I love that because then I'll notice that. I do have like partitions at the recording station, and that seems to help. I also have it kind of back and away from the louder areas in the classroom. Another thing I do sometimes when I know kids are recording specific things, I do quiet on the set. And then everybody knows they need to be quiet just for that brief moment while kids are recording something quickly. And other than that, I just really encourage them to get close to the microphone because iPads are pretty good that way.
Awesome. All right, let's peek for some. And if you're on the Facebook group, or not on the Facebook group, we have a huge one called Seesaw Teachers. But as Cindy mentioned at the beginning too, we have great individual grade level groups. So if you're not yet in the kindergarten group, in Seesaw Teachers, you're gonna wanna just jump into that. All sorts of sharing, questions answered, ideas, really good examples of what kindergarten teachers and students are doing with Seesaw in their classroom. So let's see, a couple other questions. Allison wants to know, can Google Slides be integrated with Seesaw? Yes, so currently they already are. So they are going to be added to Seesaw as a PDF, which allows easy sharing for anyone that has access. You can also add them as a link as well, but that gets a little bit more complicated with share settings, which it's easier to use an add file option for that. Let's see. Can you talk a little bit, Cindy, like maybe this will be our last question here today. Talk about getting your families connected to Seesaw. Was that an easy process for you? How did you go about doing that?
Oh, that's a great one. Well, I introduced it and showed them the great video that Seesaw has for parents, and I showed that at back to school night. Our kindergarten back to school night actually happens before school begins, like a few days before school begins. And so I really just showed them Seesaw, and I talked to them about what we had done in the class last year. And then a lot of them signed up right then. I helped them do that. Any parents that didn't sign up right away, then I just personally went to them and kind of explained and talked to them a little bit more. And really, once they saw what it was, I was able to get everybody to sign up. I think last year I had to talk one parent a little bit more often about it, and then she finally signed up and then loved it. So sometimes you just need to do that personally, but most of my parents signed up at back to school night.
Awesome, yeah, and I highly recommend doing that as soon as possible too. All right, Cindy, I want to respect everyone's time here today, and we could just go on forever hanging out. I love it. But just a reminder to everyone out there, you will get an email with the slides and the video recording of the webinar today. Of course, join us for more webinars. You just can go to web.seesaw.me/PDS for PDs. Our schedule is there, and little known fact is any link that you click on for webinars that have already happened, it will just take you right to the recording. So make sure you check that out. Cindy is more than happy, I know, to connect with you as well. If you are on Twitter, you can find her on Twitter, and I'm going to try to get to her first slide here, so you can get her contact information as well. And of course, she would see you in the Facebook group too. So in a moment when I end the webinar here, there will be a survey that pops up. Please, please, please take just a minute to fill out the survey. We love to hear your feedback and ideas for other things you'd like to learn about in upcoming webinars, and just get your feedback so we can get better. So Cindy, thanks for sharing all of your expertise with us here today, and thanks everyone for taking time out of your busy schedules to join in as well. Thanks everyone.
Thanks for having me. Bye.